Right. Today's July 3rd, 2025. I'm going to be 61 at the end of the month. I just got fired. I was talking about this earlier. Before yesterday, I was talking about it because I just got fired yesterday because of my. So here's the deal though. I got fired because so I have to talk this out. And I know I'm talking to a computer. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm talking to a computer. I've expressed this many times that I'm disappointed that my only friend is my computer. I mean, I have my son and they have my Kayla, but they don't want to listen to me rehash this and rehash this, right? And I need to get out how I'm feeling about it so that I don't rehash it to them, right? Sorry. I may need to get water. But anyway, I woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning and wrote a review for my job. And I don't know, it's like, actually, I feel like I was honest in what I said. I mean, I know, I feel like they are taking advantage, right? I feel like when I am calling okay, first off, it's working from home, which whatever. I prefer, I would like to kind of work from home, maybe, but then not really because I know when I'm at work, I'm at work. When I'm at home, I mean, it's separate. And then when you're at work, you're working most of the time, right? But when you're trying to work with someone who's working from home and there's distractions like their computer goes out a lot because they don't have a great internet connection, or there's dogs barking in the background, or there's kids screaming, and you're trying to work like me because I would work from the office. So I would be in the office. They assigned me 63. I had 63 cases by the time I left. I started at October 10th. I started taking cases about December 1st, about then. Between December 1st and now, I have 63 cases. Over half of them were given to me in the past 2 months. With no, my only help, which I've talked about this multiple times, my only help was my coworker who didn't because I took the reins and took control, that threatened her, right? I was a threat to her. Then I started losing weight, which made me more of a threat to her, right? Because I was starting to get healthy. So I was becoming a threat because she's super unhealthy. Her everything is unhealthy. The whole place was unhealthy, though. It's I felt that when I was in there. The weight of the place was so heavy. I was I felt like I was strangling all the time. God, so I'm glad to be gone, but I hate looking for work, and I hate the way it ended. I hate that they called the police on me. What the fuck? They called the police on me. The police, I got a recording of it, when the police called me, and I'm like, what? I'm look at my phone. Oh, it's City Hall. Why is City Hall calling me? And it's the police. By the way, they don't want you coming back. I'm although I did leave some notebooks there that were things I had written, so there's some personal things about me, but I don't really care. I'm kind of an open book. I don't think there's anything that I've written that I would care that anyone reads. However, they're going to be like, oh, see, we were right. She's crazy. And it's I never said that I wasn't nuts. I never did. I think everybody's nuts. They're just nuts in their own ways. The thing with me is that all of my life I have been abused, pretty much. And that includes my work life. I mean, I worked in the service industry and restaurants, and a lot of those are really abusive situations, right? Especially small towns. I mean, and unfortunately, I've had small town mentality where I've worked big fish, little pond syndrome, both in Montana and here. Oh my God, here it's so bad, especially at South Coast Business. Jesus Christ. Big fish, little pond. We are in charge of this. We are awesome. It's no, you're not awesome. You've been doing this so long that you quit caring about what it is you're doing for the people. You're only worried about the bottom line is how much money you're taking home for your big ass trucks and your big house with all your chickens and all of your things. You've lost focus on what it is you're supposed to be doing and the people you're supposed to be helping. And I saw that. And I think they knew that I saw that. So they had to get me out of there. I mean, of course, I could see them, right? It's and I know they can say whatever they want about me, but I'll tell you one thing I will say about myself, and I know this to be true because I've got history. I'm 61 years old, and I know that people, when I have figured people out, later down the road, when I've looked back, I was always right. I'm like, oh, see, I was right. That is how they are. And for me, and it's funny because I was talking to my sister the other day, and I think that some people are more perceptive than others. And I think that some people feel other people's feelings deeper, right? They call it empaths. I mean, we know, and we believe this to be true. So, those of us who have not learned to be able to control the influx of all the feelings we get from other people, right? Like me, I'm trying to learn, and I will say I did so much better this time than I have in the past at not expressing my anger. That's it. I will admit that I was like at my desk mumbling. I'd be like, yeah, la, 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 la. I mean, I know I was doing that, and I honestly, because I was forcing it. Like I was like, they're gonna have to fire me. I'm not gonna quit because I didn't want to walk away from the people I was trying to help. You know what I mean? It's not the people that I, like if it wasn't for, and it's not all the people I worked with. There were a couple of people I did not really, I feel like there was just two people that I really felt like were, like, well, one in particular manipulated everybody. And everybody allowed her to do that. So one person manipulated them all, and they all allow her to do it. So she's been there 25 years. She must have like garbage on them, but 25 years, she's ingrained in it, which is what I told my boss, which is, again, I knew I was going to get fired. When I went to go see my mom in California, I told my sister I was going to get fired when I came back. She's like, you really think you're going to get fired? I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get fired. Because I went into my boss and said, are you going to take care of this problem? Or are you just going to, and I told her, I said, it's not going to change. So it doesn't really matter what I think. And it doesn't matter what I say to you. It's not going to change. It's going to stay this way. Because Melissa, see, they're both the problem, Melissa and Tammy. Because Melissa has gotten comfortable not doing her job because everybody around her does it for her. You know, Tylynn does her job. Cindy does her job. You know, Melanie does her job. Melissa can't get a grip on her job because she's got too much other shit going on with kids and just too much, you know. But I'm not saying I don't know what she does. I'm sure she does just fine. But the thing is she took on OPIM. When she took on OPIM, right, she did that for the company. She brought that program, her and whomever, she said she was the director. So when you become the director of a program, then you have guidance for your workers, so that they know what they're doing. You don't just be like, oh, here you go, brand new person. I know you've only been here a couple of months, but here you go, drop. There's OPIM for you. Please I mean, literally, when I would go to her with a problem, most of the time she was on FaceTime. And by the time she got off, I was pissed. I'm like, I'm coming to you with an issue that I need resolved now because I have a bunch to figure out. You know, and it's not only that, it's like they did that and then they gave me the phones, right? So I'm trying to figure out a brand new program with no support at all. A coworker who's trying to undermine me every time I turn my back. Another coworker who, granted, I respect her. She works really, really hard. She tried to be kind of nice to me, but I could always tell she was really like, didn't care for me. Well, and it's like the descriptions that at one point, I would go to her and I would discuss, I'd try to work things out with her, right? And then I had said something to Melissa and her one time, and Melissa's all like, yeah, we know that you're good at doing it. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit. So I went to Tylynn, so then she comes to you and says, oh, well, she comes into my office. You know what I mean? It's like, and then the way, it was Mean Girls style. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what the fuck? Which, it's a very small building. Very small. It's really a horrible building. I swear to God, it was built on a fucking graveyard or something. It's a bad building. But it's a small building, and there's 2 women up front. There were 3 when I got there. They weren't nice to me. Then there's like the 3 women in the back, and one of them is like totally not nice to anybody. Like if she gets in a mood, she's just mean to you. She was really good for this time when I was there because I made her be a better person. But I think she really minimized what I was doing when she talked them into getting rid of me because she manipulated the whole thing. As soon as I told her to fuck off, she started manipulating things. And actually, that wasn't it. What happened was when she dropped the ball and I picked it up when I was brand new, but when she dropped the big ball and I picked it up and ran with it, that's when the problem started. Well, she was kind of snitty before that. I mean, she was never nice, never really tried to help me, never really tried to anything. She was just, well, it was hard for me, so it's going to be hard for you. I was surprised she wasn't a Trump voter, but she wasn't. Some of them were though, and I'm like, I mean, it made sense why I don't fit there. But blows me away that people that voted for Trump work in a nonprofit. So that makes me question waste, abuse, and fraud, right? It's like, I almost, yeah, I don't, I'm not, yeah, I just, from what I saw, I don't know. It doesn't matter what I think. What I think is that I'm glad I'm not there anymore. But it makes me sad the way it happened. I hate that because it's like I do. I climbed up on the desk. I mean, come on. But I couldn't help it. I was pissed. Well, and it's funny because I climbed up, I put up curtains. And nobody, see, that's the thing, okay? So when Tammy started coming back to the office, I put up curtains. And the reason that I did that was because of the lights, right? But then like she would be sitting at my desk when I would come back to work, and I didn't appreciate that. I mean, it was my desk, and it's like, well, my phone doesn't work. Well, that's not my problem. Don't sit at my desk. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I put up a curtain. Well, the first curtain I put up was just like my intent was because I thought it would look more professional. I didn't realize it was going to be such a block and but it was just a beige curtain, right? And so, of course, that was met with anger, especially from her, but she manipulated it so that it was anger from Thailand as well. You know what I mean? Because she had to go into Thailand's office and start talking about it and closing the door and making a comment to me about, oh, well, you're on an island of your own. And it's like, that wasn't what I meant, but okay, it was, you know what I mean? I meant it to, the light bothers me. So I tried to fix it and make it more welcoming for me. And I just felt that it's like the more I am me, the more someone like her wants me out of there, right? And it's like I have in my lifetime experienced this throughout my lifetime because people are angry and they don't I don't think I haven't always been confident with myself at all because I'm still not really confident, although I'm more confident with myself now than I've ever been. But it's not even that, but actually the reason why is because somebody said that the way I act, it comes off as confidence. And I'm like, does it really? And they said, yeah. And I went, okay, cool. That makes me feel better now. I feel confident, right? That's all it took. But anyway, I don't even think it's that. It's just that because I have been forced in my life since I was very, very young, probably 3, I've been forced to learn how to survive alone, right? Pretty much alone, without a support system. I'm good at that because I'm 60. I'll be 61. I've been doing it a lot of years, right? I'm good at it. And people like her it's so funny though, because see, this part is my fault. She's so much like my sister in how she just manipulates everything just manipulates it all to look like it's all not her, that she's like, it's funny to me that, well, and I told my boss that. I said, Tammy manipulates you all, and you're numb to it. She's in the fabric, and you're. See, I mean, of course, I knew she was going to fire me as soon as I spoke up to her. Although I was talking loud because I was angry, and she's like, "You don't have to yell." And it's like, "Have you heard me talk? I'm not yelling. I always talk loud. But that's who I am." but I was talking angrily, and I'm like, "Yes, I'm angry." And she's like, "You're angry at the wrong person." No, 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 no. I'm not. I'm mad at you, Melissa, because you're the boss. And you let this happen. You sit back on your FaceTime wanting everything to just run except for what you absolutely have to focus on. You want everyone else, though, to run their little pieces of it, right? I mean, it's like, you may help Thailand. I know you never once. I know she's not listening, but it's like I'm going to be talking to Melissa. You never once came up to me and said to me, hey, how is it going? How are things working out for you? Is there anything I can do to help you? How many cases do you have? How many cases do you think would be too much? Nothing. You never fucking asked me jack shit. How did you figure out how to do the alarms? How did you figure this out? The only thing you asked me is, are you documenting this? Gee, I wonder why you asked me that. Why would you ask me that question? Yeah, because when I leave, you wanted all my information because I compiled notebooks of shit, right? So they have a path to follow now that I'm gone, that they didn't have when I was there. And of course we know, Tammy will take credit. Tammy Edgerton will take credit for all of the stuff I compiled because that's who she is. And you know what's going to happen? Melissa, Devin, Spike, and Ty-In and Cindy are going to sit back and let her do that. It's so fucking... I really hope. I want them all to get everything in life that they deserve. I really do, all of them. A couple of them I think would be good things. A couple of them, I'm not so sure, but we'll see. It's not up to me to make that choice. I can only hope. You know what I mean? It's funny to me. Although I feel like especially Cammie, she's already living the life she fucking deserves. She's miserable. She's just a slug, a miserable slug, you know? And it's like there were times when I would see not that, when I would actually see not a slug. And I was like, she's okay. And then within a half hour, she'd be the slug again. And I'd be like, damn, I thought that woman changes fast. You know, as do I. Okay, so I'm going to read my scathing review here in a sec. It was funny because I called the insurance company yesterday, and I was like, so, because I have a dentist appointment on the 7th, because I got just my top dentures, so I didn't get my bottom ones, which suck. I should have done it while I was there, but whatever. Anyway, I have a dental appointment on the 7th, so I called the insurance company, and I'm like, how long is my insurance good for? I just got fired. I said, and they called the police on me, so I cannot really call them to find out. And he started laughing, because I was laughing. I'm like, I mean, the fact that they called the police on me, it just blows me away. I'm like, I mean, again, though, okay, so that confirms to me, though, because at first I was like, wow, do I seem that crazy? Because I did. I stood up on the desk and got my shit down, which I mostly did because they're all slugs, and I'm not. I'm fine. And I know, like I said, that's really, see, that's the problem, because you are who you surround yourself with, and because they were petty and small people, I felt, and I'm not saying that in a way, well, not all of them, that's not true. Cammie was petty and small. Melissa, I'm not quite sure about, but and that, you know, and that is, she was the one that she drives everything that goes on there. Regardless of what they pretend, she drives it all, right? She drove this, she drove all of it, right? And she drove it, like the minute that I showed her I knew how to work, she wanted me out because she's been milking it since the day, well, for years she's been milking it. You know, the majority of the time when she's in that office, she spends talking. And I told Melissa, but again, they're all comfortable in what they've been doing. I mean, I don't understand why Thailand doesn't speak up. She works her fucking ass off, and I feel like she should speak up, but she must be comfortable too. Cindy as well. I mean, and Melanie, she's just off somewhere. I know she works her ass off too. I guess they're all just comfortable in it. But for me, I guess it was like, I know Melanie took over a program, but the program was running. For me, it was a brand new program with, like, Tammy just took it over. But I already had it up and running. So it's going to be easier, kind of. Because my organization is, for me, good, but other people may not. Because I'm kind of chaotic in my mind sometimes. So my organization might not be something that someone else can really decipher. I had appointments today. I had an appointment yesterday. You know, I had several things that I was working on. And I have a consumer that I got a lift chair for. They know nothing that's going on with that. I didn't have a chance to put in the notes because I got fired before that, but they don't know that the consumer has got surgery, nothing. Well, they might, because Tammy listens to what I say, and so does Ty Lynn. So she was in the office listening to me all day yesterday when I was talking to people on the phone, when I was making appointments, knowing that I was going to get fired, right? It's like, nobody else was there, though. Melissa doesn't have the balls. She didn't show up. She didn't show up from the time that I said to her how I felt, and yes, I was loud, whatever. It's so funny to me that she's like, oh, it takes a strong person to do this job. Really? Is that what that's called? Okay, that's strength. You have strength, you can't even stand up to Tammy. That's not strength. That's not caring. You don't give a shit about anybody but yourself. That's why. So, look at beyond that. Anyway, that's not true either. But I mean, you've been in this for so long that you can't see outside yourself. Let me rephrase that, because I can't say you don't care. That's not fair. But that's how it feels. So it feels to me like you have gotten so wrapped up into your bubble, which I get. It's a lot. I get you're raising your grandkids. Who raised your kids so that you have those grandkids? Oh, that would have been you. But hey, that's cool. I mean, I don't know. You don't get props from me for that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you raised children that caused you to have to raise their grandkids. That doesn't make you some high goddess or high priestess. It just makes you, in my view, you are an irresponsible parent in order to be raising kids where now you have to raise their grandkids. Or it was the luck of the draw. Either way, it doesn't make you most wonderful or better than, or that you shouldn't have to focus as hard on your job as other people, right? That doesn't give you the right to do that because you took that on when that's something that you created for yourself, And it's like, it's hard for me to be around people like that. People like you lied to me. Melissa totally fucking lied to me. It was either her or Tammy. One of them lied, saying that, oh, Marlene brought this, like, this is part of the deal, okay? I was being sent out to consumers' homes where people are mad right now. I was working for Oregon Project Independence Medicaid, okay? People were being kicked off of the normal Medicaid that they had been on because of COVID-19. And they were being given this alternative, which didn't give them near what the other one did. Didn't give them the medications, didn't give them the hours in home care that they were getting, anything. I was being sent into people's homes, not knowing. Like one instance, I did not know that this person was losing hours because they were just slamming me with them. And so I was trying to get them rolled over, and so unfortunately, that was my bad because I didn't look. And I just assumed that everybody was getting more hours, right? Well, I get to this person's house. It turns out they're getting less hours. So I'm like, after that, I started looking because I had never been trained. I was, you know what I mean? I had not been trained on any of this at all. Like Tammy took, whatever. If what you call what she did training, then I don't call it that. She didn't want to train me. Her way of thinking was she didn't get paid for that, so why should she do it? She maybe didn't say that, but I know who she is. I see her. Anyway, so I go to this consumer's home, and they don't know that they're losing hours for home care worker. And when she finds out, she's coming unglued, and I'm sitting there, and this woman's coming unglued, and her husband's sitting there not saying a word, but I can see he's getting red, and he's a vet, and she's talking about guns, and I'm sitting at this table going, oh, fuck, right? Oh, fuck. So the situation was fine. I calmed it down. I left. I went back and saw those people again, and it was fine. And they liked me. I don't know if they'll like Tammy because we're different, right? Like, we're different. I mean, she might be, I don't know. I know from what I saw from her out in the field, she and I are not the same, right? But I haven't worked with her enough to say, but we are different. So I don't know whether they'll like her or not. But I was able to calm them down. But the fact of the matter is that when you're working in volatile situations such as this, right, which we all know that things are volatile right now. And although they kind of are ostriches about it, I think. Or my boss was like, well, people are going to yell at you. And it's like, no, I don't want to get shot. You know, I'm cool getting yelled at. It's cool. I've been yelled at all my life. I can handle that, but I don't want to get shot, you know. And right now things are volatile and people are angry. And people that I was going to see did not realize that I don't work for the state. And people, they don't care sometimes. Some people don't give a shit if you're the one or if it's someone else, right? You are the conduit to their misery. They think, right? So if you're working in those kind of situations and your coworkers don't have your back, they are opening you up to potential violence, right? Like Tammy opened me up to potential violence by, there was a person that came into our office yelling at me. I was working on fixing the problem. Tammy was well aware of the fact that I had been working on fixing the problem. She heard me talking to my other coworker about it. I had to go out of the office on a home visit. When I was out, this person who is angry comes back to the office. Rather than trying to calm them again and telling them, hey, my coworker, I can see where she's got this. I can see where she's reached out to a bunch of people because I made notes about all of it, where she was always on me about making narrations so people could read. Well, there were narrations on everything I had done to help this person, right? For 3 weeks, I had been working on this. And then this person comes back to the office when I'm not there, and instead of Tammy having my back, she undermines me, gets on the computer, looks up the consumer, is like, oh, I see the problem right here. Somehow this person, it wasn't the consumer, it was the consumer's daughter who was a home care worker, right? Somehow this home care worker gets the impression from Tammy that it could have been fixed a week ago had Tammy been working on it, right? So this person who is all mad now, now she's mad at me. So all that anger that she had towards APD where it belonged, or the computer where it belonged, or somewhere else where it belonged, Tammy caused her to direct that anger at me. And when I spoke up about that, they fired me. That's how that happened. So I am going to file for unemployment because that is what happened. I mean, I can tell you what happened. If anybody wants to tell me something different, they can. But after that, I mean, she's opened me up to potential violence right there because she needed to undermine me instead of actually try to help with the situation. And I don't care what anybody thinks. I know what her motivations were. And it may not work, but I'm still going to try to fight this for unemployment because until I find a job, I've got a waiting week, and I can fight it and still get paid back whether or not I find a job. I feel like they owe it to me. I feel like somebody should have addressed that with Tammy. She put me at risk by trying to undermine me. And then they lied to me about it. You know what I mean? I'm like, you put me, not only she didn't even give me a heads up that she had done this with this woman. So I was in the office in the afternoon by myself with that door unlocked. So had that consumer come back, I would have had no idea what had happened with Tammy. And the last thing Tammy knew was that person was supposed to come back at 5:30 to meet with me, right? And then, she left me open. She didn't mention a word of that to me. She left me open for danger. I mean, now that I'm thinking about this, she really opened me up for potential harm. And nothing was done about it. And I told my boss about it, and nothing was done about it. And you know what? I'm reporting this. Because that whole situation was so volatile, especially for the fact that she didn't even notify me that anything was going on. And I was in the back in the office in the afternoon by myself. And I was really upset by that situation. I mean, extremely upset. And it's like, she opened me up for danger right there. I mean, I was afraid. I left the office right then. That said, I didn't tell my boss I was afraid because I didn't know what was driving how I'm feeling until just now. Now I know why I was so freaked out, because I was afraid. I had been yelled at by this woman already, and then my coworker goes and undermines me to this woman who's yelling at me, and I don't even know it had happened. And then I'm in the office by myself with the door unlocked, and this woman could come back, and I would have no clue what she was talking about, because my coworker didn't express to me what had happened. And I got fired. I got fired for that. Okay. Wait. I just can't even. It's all right. I'm going to try to get unemployment. I think I have a pretty good case, but we'll see. You know? I know they're going to be like, well, she didn't say she was in danger. Oh, okay. I did say it bothered me. I don't know. Anyway, well, I got that figured out. All right, I'm going to stop. I'll probably stream again because I don't want to. I need to get this out of me. But see, with streaming right there, I just figured out that I really do have a valid case for unemployment. Because, yeah, I did start reacting that way, but I was afraid for myself after that. And I had been. I had been afraid for myself after that because, and I said something about that yesterday before I got fired. I said, yeah, somebody shows up here yelling at me, and nobody had my back in that situation. You know what I mean? Like, oh, my boss, do you want me to call her and tell her it wasn't your fault? Well, it's a little fucking late now, after she already came in and shot my ass. Because by the time it's like, it shouldn't have even happened. That's the thing. Tammy shouldn't have been allowed to do that. She shouldn't have felt confident in trying to undermine me that way, which is exactly what motivated her to do it that way. It's like and they won't see that. They don't see that, but it's true. And because they, again, are numb to her. But I'm not. And I don't know. I hope they get audited. I really do. I mean, I hate for people to see people lose their OPIM. But they're probably going to anyway. But I feel like it can be run a lot better. I feel like Melissa doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. Or she doesn't care what she's doing. She doesn't care to get in and try to find out. I don't know. She's too involved in other things. But she gave me no direction for the time I was there. There was maybe twice. One time she tried to read something with me. That was it, And I mean, I think about it and I'm like, well, you didn't go in her office and ask. Well, I shouldn't have had to. Her job is to make sure I know how to do my job. That's her job. My job is not to go to my boss and ask her how to do you know what I mean? Please tell me how to do my job. No, your job is to fucking tell me how to do my job. That's why you're the boss. Your job is to give me fucking direction. Hello? You know what I mean? It wasn't, and so there are things where I feel like I did go to her that's the thing. I did go to her a couple times, but I was always just like, why do I bother? You either say you're going to help and you don't. You put it off until I finally just figure it out. Or you say, oh, we'll figure it out. And then go and do whatever it is you're doing on your phone with whoever. Or there are times, I'm not saying that you didn't work, because I know there were things that you had to do. But I also feel like you even said yourself to me that you get more work done when you're in the office. And the percentage of your time is not spent there. And a lot of that time is spent on the phone. So you said that yourself, and then from what I saw. So you can put the pieces of that puzzle together. It's so funny. I don't know. And then, oh my God, the whole thing. It's so fucking ridiculous. It just blows me the fuck away. And the fact that you guys called the police on me. How sad. What a sad group of women living in this town that will die here. You're going to die here, and it's just like, it will come back for you. I am sure. Things are not going to stay this way forever, Trump's tearing shit up, and some of us know how to survive, and some of us don't. So, and I'm pretty sure you're not a survivor. I'm just saying. You've had the same cushion for years. And if it goes away, which my hope is it does, I really would like to see that happen. But then that's mean and that's vindictive. So I don't want to feel that way. But I think that some people need to feel some suffrage a little bit so that they actually realize how privileged they are. Because it seems to me that you all there at South Coast Business have forgotten how privileged you are. I knew when I was there how privileged I was to have that job. I was privileged to be working there. I understood that. It was really hard for me to work around a bunch of people who didn't. That was part of my issue too. Because none of you understood how privileged you are to have that job. Well, that's not true. A few of you do, I think. I'm not sure. But I know for sure some of you don't realize your privilege. You just think you're better than everybody. That's not how it is. It's privilege. It's not being better. It's being privileged, being lucky, whatever it is. But it's certainly not being better. I mean, which is the problem. Because if you were better than me, you wouldn't have had to get rid of me. Just saying. All right. Peace out. I'm going to take my dogs out every time. Oh, maybe not. Walter's just laying there looking at me. Not Temperance, though. She's like, what? What are you doing? What are you talking about? Who are you talking to? Pay attention, me. Pay attention, me. I really should spend this time while I'm not working doing stuff around the house. Of course, it's cold, so that doesn't help, but talking it out helps, even though it seems pointless. I feel like an imposter, but who cares? Like, really, who's listening? Like, it doesn't matter if I'm putting it out there. And then if someone does listen, maybe they'll find it interesting. And if they don't, what are you hurting? And I've got teeth. They're crooked, though, so now I gotta tell the dentist it's funny because they're crooked and they're set too low. And so he says, well, do you want to wait 6 months to fix, whatever, a month or so to fix them, or do you want to wait 6 months? And I said, well, I'll wait 6 months and do my bottom teeth. Well, now I'm not going to do my bottom teeth, so I need to talk to my dentist when I see him and say, change plans. I got fired. I think it's so funny because I really think that Tammy is convinced she can just, and the thing is that what she's going to do is she's going to step in and not be able to do my job, but she's going to blame it on me for my unorganization, right? Because my folders are not like hers. I did not work the same way. I couldn't have. They gave me 63 fucking cases. What was I mean, 40 of them were in literally I had 23 cases, I think. When did it go public? I had 23 cases when it went public. Hold on. $2025, I think it was. 2025 release date, is that right? Information, the Office of, no, OPIM, Oregon Project Independent, OREDON. Tell me. 2025, when does it say when, though? I don't know. I think it went public in May. So from May to June and June to July, I got 40 consumers that they gave to me. And so Tammy's probably going to pick over my files and say how horrible I did, which I don't really give a shit. I got people help. I got somebody their house cleaned. I got somebody a lift chair, you know what I mean? Which is part of the problem because I was actually helping people. And Tammy wants to do as little as possible. It's oh, that requires me to do more. She wants to, she types and she's real researcher. I don't know. She just doesn't, we're different. So we're different, and it doesn't even matter because I already know today they're picking my stuff apart. So, and they're probably not going to be able to figure a lot of it out because a lot of it, like first off, my writing is horrendous, and a lot of the things I remember, like I make notes. And then I will read their file and I will read the notes and then remember the conversation. You know what I mean? I'll remember the person and remember the conversation. And so the little notes I make are remembering the person. Like, gray haired man with real polite manners, smelled a little bit like urine in the home type thing. You know what I mean? I'll be like, oh, that's right. I remember that person and and then I remember and so they're going to get my files with the little sticky notes that say gray haired man, but they're not going to know shit about that person. They won't know nothing. Because I hadn't gotten to typing some of them. I had a stack of files that I was working on. They have no clue what I was doing with any of them. So it's like some of them, it's just, it doesn't even matter because it's not my job anymore. I had two of them I was getting ready to put into an MMIS system, but I couldn't do it because I had to send a request to get them put into the MMIS system because I'm not allowed to do it. I don't have the permissions. So I have to send a request to central office and have central office put the person in MMIS for me so that then I can go in and put in a plan of care. Let's see, the thing is with the plan of care. So anyway, I'd sent the request to MMIS to have the people put into the system so that I could find them to put in a plan of care. But then what happened was, oh yeah, I would put in the plan of care, but see, Tammy won't put in the plan of care. What she'll do is she's going to send those requests off to Cindy and make Cindy do it, even though, and she'll have Cindy go ahead and put in the emergency response systems. I was doing that too. They might have her do it now, because I was doing it and Cindy can't take on more. You know what I mean? But see, Tammy doesn't care. Tammy's like, oh, well, I don't really know how to use that. And then she won't even try. Because why would she? Why would she? I mean, why would she? You know what I mean? It's like, that's how she was. You know what I mean? I would say, oh, well, Melissa needs to learn how to do this right now. So regardless of how busy she is and how much the consumer is suffering right now, we're going to go ahead and just make her do it. It's like, okay, you could wait and you could just get things rolling and then go back and fix it later, but that would be more work for you. And you don't want to have to do that. So instead, you're going to make her suffer and him suffer because you don't want to do a little bit more work on the back end of this. Gotcha. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, working with people like that and I'm the one that gets fired. Like, that's how that person was. I mean, I saw her. I saw one time. So we're talking to a consumer, and Tammy is interviewing her. And Tammy is asking her about her bowels and how, when she goes to the bathroom, about how long do you think it takes for you to go to the bathroom? And this consumer's like, well, I don't know. I'm not real sure. And so Tammy kept going on and on. And she's like, I'm really not feeling comfortable with this right now. So I would have said, this is how I would have done this. I would have said, well, okay, so let's say for me, I know sometimes I need to poop. So let's say about a half hour every time. I'm just going to average it out because you never know. Sometimes it takes longer, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm just going to round it out to about a half hour. Now, I cared for somebody out in the field, and that's what we did with him. He took a half hour. He sat in there on the toilet with his phone and he took a half hour. And if he was done a little bit sooner than that, he let me know. But we averaged it to be a half hour. You know what I'm saying? So this is how I would have handled that situation. But Tammy didn't. She pushes the person until the person starts. Actually, she pushes the person until the person says, well, I'm not comfortable talking about this anymore. And then she says, okay, well, we'll go on to something else. But doesn't. Continues to talk about it and to push this person until the person finally started crying. So that's the difference between her and I, because I would not have done that, right? So there's one key difference right there. Plus, again, my files are kind of a mess. So I would have had it all figured out by, you know what I mean? I mean, I was getting them everything, like I was working on them one at a time, you know what I mean? Because I had a lot given to me all at once. But they have no idea where I was in the process of I have 63 cases and they have no idea where, in the past week, I actually had aging and people with disabilities yesterday say, oh God, because they handed me something. They're like, have you reached out to these people yet? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I haven't had a chance to get to them. I was out of town and I had a really major, because as soon as I got back, Tammy and Melissa wanted a list of all of my consumers, and then Tammy's like, it's funny because Tammy would assign my cases to herself, and it made her caseload look bigger. And I did not like that. There was no reason for her to assign my cases to her. She could click on my name and pull up all of my cases without a problem. She didn't need to assign them to herself. There was no reason for that, right? It just made it made her caseload look bigger. And that was the only reason she did it, and I know this. I don't care. She acted like she did it for something else, but she didn't. Anyway. So, and it doesn't matter because she needed to get to look at my cases so that she could charge for OPIM for the home care workers. And all she had to do was pull up my cases and look at them. But instead, what she does, because I took her off of my cases, when I'm gone on vacation, as soon as I get back, there's an email from Tammy telling me that I need to give her all of this information on all of my consumers. And then Melissa tells me in bold black letters that they need it as soon as possible. And I'm like, and right there, I should have started clearing shit up. But fuck it, I don't care if they have any. I should have taken the stuff that I put together out, but that just would make it hard for the next person. And I don't want to do that to someone that doesn't deserve that. Like, they don't deserve my knowledge, but the next person after me doesn't deserve going through what I went through. I'm not going to be like Tammy and be like, because I had to suffer, you have to suffer too. I won't be that person. So anyway, so they have all my knowledge because I left everything behind. But I mean, I knew this was coming. I've known this was coming since California. I forgot what I was even talking about right there. I got lost. Shit, what was I saying? I totally got lost on what I was saying right there. It doesn't even matter. See, I'm just going on and on and on about it. But it's just, the whole thing was so just ridiculous. Oh yeah, having all my cases. They're not going to know shit about that. I hope that my consumer gets her share. You know what I mean? That's my big concern right there. That I mean, it's all set up to go. So hopefully they won't drop the ball on it. But she's going to, like I said, I mean, there's probably 20 files that I'm not even done with yet, that I'm like in the process of doing all of them, and they have no idea what's going on with them. So, and even if they do, Tammy's going to be like, I am awesome and Dawnine sucks, so I have to take over for her. And it's like, yeah, okay, go for it. You're right. She's right. She's so much more awesome than me. It's okay. She can have it. I don't want it anymore anyway. I mean, I want it out of there. I really like helping people, but it is made really hard to do. There was, like I said, my boss didn't even try to coordinate with the state, and that's who we were working with. Nobody tried to coordinate in training at all. You know, when they did give me training and I asked if they would record it, they wouldn't respond to me. And it's like, you know, well, it's clear I wasn't valued. And so my consumers valued me, but the people I was working with didn't. A few of them might have, because someone from the state said it was good to have me back, you know, but I'm gone now. So it makes me kind of sad, because I know some people are really going to be like bummed, but whatever. They'll get on with it. I hope Tammy doesn't get shot. I would hate to see anyone get hurt. I don't know. I was worried about myself, though. You know what I mean? I was worried. Especially because I was being put in situations without knowledge of what I was walking into. Multiple times that happened. You know? And when I would say something, it would be blown off. Like, oh, well. You know, it's like I said to them. I said, you know, you got access to my calendar in case something happens to me, so everybody knows where I'm at, because nobody even knows when I leave the building, really. I mean, I said that to them. I'm like, nobody knows when I'm coming or going. So, you know, if my son ever comes to you and says my mom didn't show up, will you guys please, you know, look and see where are my last. I mean, they laughed it off. I mean, nobody, and it's like, I'm being put in volatile situations without my knowledge. And when I say something like that, they're like, oh, well, if you feel like you're in danger, bring someone with you. Well, by the time you feel like you're in danger, what am I? Oh, excuse me. Put the gun down. I'll be back. I'm going to call somebody for backup. Oh my God. It just blows me away. I'm like, the lack of communication and the lack of respect is so out there, which I know it's everywhere. I get that, but I can do something for a lot less stress. Obviously, not make as much money because I was making okay money, but I don't know if it's worth it. When I literally did get the feeling, there were times I felt like I was, like I thought about the fact that I was probably putting myself in danger. I think well, actually, I know my son and his fiance, neither one of them liked me at this job. You know, they never really said it, but I know that my son did tell me the other day I should have never taken the job to begin with. He's like, in Coos Bay, Mom, what are you thinking? I'm like, I got me teeth. I got the top ones anyway. That was my focus for a while. I need the bottom ones will be my next focus, so let's see how that goes. I don't know. I have to go drop my membership at the gym. It's $25 a month. I need to get weights though. I need to get stronger. See, my muscles are not like they should be at all, so I'm gonna have to start. I got a 5-pound weight over there. But anyway, what time is it? I don't know. Michaela and I think we're gonna go drop our gym memberships and maybe go hiking. I don't know. It's cold out. We'll see. She might want to hang out. She might not. It doesn't matter to me, but I'm gonna go. Maybe I'll stream or later. I'm going to, not probably. I want to do another video dancing because I think I've improved. We'll see. I'll make a video because I haven't posted a video of me dancing since like when I was 58, I think, and now I'm 61. So that was a long time ago. So I'm curious to see. I mean, I'm going to have to be in the mood, but I can, like when my son goes to work, I can do it in the driveway. Because I won't be dancing at the gym anymore. I'm not going there anymore. Which is good. I started not liking it. But the good thing is I was going there listening to my I am affirmation videos, and I really do need to start, like, because I mean, even if no, it's nice listening back and hear, I'm listening back on when I was 58, right? And I like listening back on that because I really have grown. Even because this is the worst thing I've ever done. I mean, moving here has been really hard on me, especially when stuff happens. Like, I mean, literally, they called the police on me. Are you fucking kidding me? Like that, I just I can't even wrap my head around that. I find it to be really funny. I'm like, in the time I worked there October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, in 10 months. 10 months in an office of 4 other women. They got to know me enough that they thought that they were, like, I'm talking about them and I'm getting it out, but for them to think that they were important enough for me to risk my life, which is what I would be doing if I were to do anything toward them. I could risk going to jail. I could risk many things, right? If I were to go back there, why would I go back there? I mean, the fact that they didn't know me well enough to know that there's no fucking way I'm going to go back there. Like, ever? Like, they didn't need to call the police. And after 10 months, they didn't know that. They really thought they needed to call the police, or were they just that vindictive? I vote on vindictive. Right? I vote on vindictive. Like, I'm pretty sure Tammy drove all of that somehow. We need to call the police on her because she's psychotic or something. I mean, I know I'm a little nuts, but who isn't? And not like that. I've never been violent. It's funny to me. I've never been violent. I mean, I get mad, I'll throw a tantrum, but I've never been violent. Well, let me rephrase that. Well, that's not true. I haven't been, well, okay. I did hit my son's dad, which I shouldn't have done, but he accused me he told me I was pregnant, and he said it's probably not my kid, and it was. I was pissed, and so I did hit him. I shouldn't have done that, I know, but it was his kid. I didn't cheat on him ever, and I was mad. I'm like, Seriously, I'm pregnant, walking down the street here. I'm working 2 jobs, you're working none, and you're telling me this might not be your kid? You honestly think I'd be letting you live in my house if this was not your baby, motherfucker? So, that's kind of why that one's at. But other than that, I've never been violent. I'm not a violent person. I'm not going to go do anything. That's ridiculous. I'm just like, the fact that they know so little about me to think that I'm going to go do anything because I'm an animated person tells me that they didn't even take the time to get to know me, which I knew that. I mean, I knew that. I was there. That's how I felt. I felt like I never belonged. And I don't know that anybody will, unless they're a yes man, because Tammy's fucking mean. She thinks she needs to control everything and they let her. That's the problem. Melissa, you're letting her control. You're letting her run the place. So just, you should know that. In case you don't realize it. It's kind of funny. It's funny. I keep saying I'm going to go, but I'm not. I'll be right back. No, Walter, we're not going out right now. Okay, so I'm going to read the review that I wrote because I feel like it. Alright. Excuse me. Alright. Let me find this. So this is the review I wrote. Hopefully I can't get in trouble for it. So this is what I said. I said, I worked at Quebec, is how they call it. I worked at Quebec for a time. Right off, I was warned by my supervisor, Melissa Devenspike, not to trust the woman who worked in the front office. She stated that they had called her and complained that I was asking too many questions. I was brand new, zero training, and had been pretty much left on my own to figure things out. I was trying to find out information on the printer. What the hell? According to Melissa, the front end and the OPIM program, although we were in the same building and we all worked for South Coast Business, were not really a team. She stated that I could call her or text her with questions, and this was because she and all the other employees hardly ever had to work in the office. They worked from home. So the little bit of training I received was over Teams, even the training was ridiculous. Okay. And I was like, really? Okay. Then later, she and the others discussed how they felt the CEO, also, her name's Melissa, there's 3, Melissa Devenspike, Melissa Metz, and Melissa Hendrickson. And yeah, interesting. But anyway, so then later, they were all discussing, she and the others discussed how they felt the CEO, also Melissa, was holding back funds from their VO program to remodel the building. They felt like they could use these funds for other things and they were angry. Again, okay. I only worked there a short time and had been drug into the drama, and okay. I should have quit right then, which I knew that too. I saw this coming from the minute I started taking cases. Again, Tammy could not handle the fact that I could do the job, and she had gotten by on doing as little as possible. I mean, she does a lot. Like I said, most of the time when she was in the office, she spent talking, and she would do it with me, and that was where the problem happened, because when she would talk to me, she would talk down to me, and then I would get pissed. But she wanted to talk to me because she didn't want to work. right? So then when I got pissed and went and talked to her, she would go into Tylen's office and close the door. But it was me that was acting childish. Now, had she been the adult when I said I'm sorry to her and just let it go instead of walking around with her panties in a ruffle up her butt, then things would have been different. But had she, I would have gone so much. It's just, she just was not the kind of person that was going to let it go. It wouldn't have mattered. And she wasn't going to let it go. The fact that when she went on her Thanksgiving break and we had 15 cases sitting in the queue waiting to get a phone call that had been sitting there, some of them for a couple of months, when I'm the one that took it upon myself to call these people because we couldn't just ignore it, it wasn't going to go away. From that point forward, my days were numbered. I mean, I knew that, but I also knew people needed help. So at least I got it started. You know, at least I can say that I got the program started for the people that need it. And hopefully the people will get the help that they deserve. But I don't foresee that. I didn't see it happening when I was there. So we'll see. Anyway, okay. So anyway, they were talking about, all right, here was again. Then later, she and the others discussed how they felt the CEO, also Melissa, was holding back funds from their VA program to remodel the building. I don't know if there's any help for that building. Anyway, they felt like they could use these funds for other things, and they were angry, which they felt like they could use funds for like Meals on Wheels. And I get that part of it. But again, I mean, then go to the CEO and talk to her about it. Don't sit here behind her back in your office and close the door. I mean, that's the thing. That's how they were. You know, maybe they did talk to her about it, but the fact that they do, it's just so high school, right? It's like when I had something to say, I said it with the door open, standing in the doorway. I'm not going to pretend like I'm just not that way. I don't, yeah. Anyway, there a lot of backbiting, a lot of backstabbing. I got thrown under the bus multiple times by, oh, I'm sure she's having a heyday right now, man. Look at this file, look at this file, look at this. It's like, okay, but let's not take into consideration all that I did do while I was there. She started picking me apart immediately. Like, that's another thing. I wrote a letter, an 8-page letter, talking about what she had done and the way she had treated me from the time I started working there. My boss said, HR wants this letter. And so I wrote it and sent it to her. Well, she didn't forward it to HR. HR never got that. So HR yesterday was like, why did you never complain to HR? And I'm like, I did. I wrote you an 8-page letter. And she's like, well, did you send it to me? And I'm like, yeah. And then I got home and looked, and no, I didn't. I sent it to my boss, who didn't forward it. So I forwarded it to her today. It doesn't matter now, but I'm like, Melissa didn't do her job, because this was what I wrote. I wrote an 8-page letter outlining the things that Tammy had done to make me angry, to continuously downgrade and undermine things that I was doing. It was a pretty constant thing. You know what I mean? And I didn't, I wrote down some of it, but not all of it. And then she, the topping on the cake the other day, when she puts me in danger because she wants to undermine me. She tries to undermine me with an angry consumer by being like, oh, I can fix it. I can tell you what the problem was. If you had come in last week and talked to me, I would have fixed it. And I'm not sure how she said it, but it doesn't matter, because that's the impression the person got. She didn't try to diffuse the situation and make them not mad at me. She wanted them to be mad at me with her. And so that's what she did. She put me in danger, And it's like, it's not okay. It's not okay. And they did nothing about it. Not a fucking thing, It's not okay. So, it's not okay. And then I'm the one that gets blamed for this? Okay. It's not okay. Okay, anyway. Back to the letter. Anyway, I should have put right there and then, but nope. I'm fortunate because my time working there, I found this organization to be totally unorganized, with a complete lack of training or employee support. There is a severe lack of work ethic, especially by management, as well as longtime employees. Melissa, who in my view barely does her job as she spends much of her time in her office on her phone with her family, allows her longtime employee Tammy to bully other employees, stating that's just how Tammy is. I mean, do your job, stop her. And because I found honesty to be an issue, I also would not, I could probably get in trouble for this, huh? I also would not be at all surprised to learn that the management was misappropriating funds. But it's true, that's how I feel. I feel that way. Like, she had me sign something and I don't know what it was, and I'm thinking back and I'm like, was it something? Because I know she ordered something for me. I think it was a printer, and I signed off on it. But this was something she was like, oh, just sign this for me. You know what I mean? It was underhanded. And I know that. And I'm like, and right after it happened, I'm like, what did I just sign? You know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh, fuck. I mean, it's like, and then when I said something to HR about it, it's like, oh, you signed it? I'm like, yeah, but she asked me to, and she was my boss. So maybe you should be pissed at her, not me, for asking me to sign something that I shouldn't have been signing. And I'm sure she'll find a way, like Melissa's going to find a way to be like, oh, I just had her sign this for that printer or something, but that's not true. Whatever she had me sign was something I shouldn't have been signing. And I'm 100% sure about that, by the way she acted. Again, I'm usually right about these things. So plus I was there. She had me sign something that I did not know what it was. I'm like, you mean right here where it says, request her? And she's like, yes, and it had nothing to do with me. So, I mean, there's that, right? I'm just saying. Okay, anyway. In honesty, also because she lied to me about the whole thing with Tammy. And I don't know if Tammy lied to her or she lied to me, but I don't trust her. So I feel like they both lied. Doesn't matter. Okay. Anyway. And because I found honesty to be an issue, I also would not be at all surprised to learn that management was appropriating funds. They do not appear to care at all for the population they work for. If one notices there are no recent positive reviews, I am sure that's because most of the employees treat others badly. They don't show any care about the work or the people, only the paycheck. And for nonprofit employees, that is sad. I will say that yes, I was fired from this job for expressing my displeasure and the lack of support I was receiving. But the way that they fired me just shows me that their egos are much, much more important than the people they are supposed to be helping. Let me see. They fired me with a case of 63 cases that they know nothing about because I had little or no help. It is said that they are the only organization in Coos County that is working with APD and OPIM. They don't care, and I feel sorry for the consumers they are supposed to help. They called the police after firing me. There's the link. I wish for them to receive back all that they give. I don't know if I can get in trouble for that, maybe, but I don't care. I mean, I know what happened. And I know how I felt. I felt threatened. I felt that my life was being put in danger. And I felt that more than once. I felt that once out in the field, and I felt that day. You know what I mean? And I did mention it, like, to Cindy, but she's not going to say anything. These women don't, I swear to God. It's so funny. We're strong. Okay. Why? Because you can have babies? That doesn't make you strong. Gotta tell you, we can all have those. Well, not all of us, let me rephrase that, but that doesn't make you strong. I'm just saying. Anyway, all right. I don't know. So that was my letter, my review. I don't want to sound vindictive, but I feel like I probably did. But it's not really how I felt. I don't feel like I'm not saying anything that I honestly don't believe. You know what I mean? I mean, I know when I was working and I needed help, what kind of response I was getting. And whether or not they were working at 7 o'clock at night or not does not, from my supervisor, right? It does not matter to me. Like, she was, well, you can reach out by text. I shouldn't have to do that. You should be asking me how things are going. You should be checking in with me, right? You should show some interest in what's happening with this program. I shouldn't have to be reaching out to you, being like, oh, by the, you know what I mean? It's like never, and even like I said, even on the times that I went in for help, I didn't get what the help that, like, so, well, call these people, and then I call these people, and it comes back to sitting in my lap. Well, you need to do something about it. Well, what am I supposed to do about it? You guys tell me I can give them 20 hours a week, and this person needs like all day, 24-hour care, and you're telling me I have to do what about it? What am I supposed to do? You know, it's like, I mean, I found out what to do. I had to refer them, and there was no other help I could give them. But and that's the thing. It wasn't like I don't know. I just feel like there was so much weight with the job for so little support, right? The office was small. Tammy didn't like me, so she would try to make everybody else not like me. And that was pretty much from the beginning. She did it before I told her to fuck off. She started it from the day I took over stuff. She started it from the day, for very first time she started training me. She was like that. She's just not, she's not happy. And people around her need to be not happy then too. She's not going to give anyone any breaks because she didn't get any. It's funny to me that she's not a Trump supporter. She seems so much like one. You know, so much like one. I mean, I'm super surprised that she's not. And she is so like, oh, I did fines and I don't think, again, I don't think that any of them realize how privileged they are. They're really privileged, and they don't even know that. I was privileged, like I said, I was privileged to have that job. That said, I could so see where I could take advantage of it, and I just, the whole atmosphere, it's like you become who you surround yourself with, and I did not want to become that. I kind of told my boss that too. I'm like, if this is strong, I don't want to be it. I'll be a different kind of strong. I'm like, I feel like strong is not letting people treat you like garbage. You know what I mean? That's what I think. I don't think strong is like letting people treat you badly. You know, and they allow one person to drive how other people are treated in that building, and she is not very kind, and it's just it's small town mentality. It's like they have never been anywhere outside of this, and so they have no real concept of anything but that. And it just, I can't, like, thank God I'm not that, you know what I mean? I, I finally am like grateful for who I am. I mean, yeah, it's hard, and it's like I don't know if finding another job, especially in this climate and in this town, it might not be easy. Start a nonprofit somehow. What can I do? Some political. Should I run for president? I mean, I don't see why not. I haven't done anything worse than Trump. I haven't. Shit would come out of the woodwork maybe, but I honestly haven't done anything worse than him. So that's it. I don't want that responsibility. It's funny, that's with this job too. I didn't want the responsibility anymore. I mean, I wouldn't have minded if I had support, but there's no support in what you're doing. It's just ridiculous. And it's funny to me that they think somebody's just going to step right in and do what I was doing. Okay. That's funny. They might, though. You never know. Someone might. I mean, I hope whoever takes over can do well, because I don't want to see my consumers suffer. I don't really care about Melissa at all. I don't care if she has a hard time. That's not true. I don't want to be that way. I kind of do, though. They called the police on me. You know what I mean? And then my dog, every time I move, he's like, we're going outside, right? It's cold outside. I need to file for unemployment. Okay, I am going to go. And then I'm probably going to stream again. I don't know. I got some time on my hands. Maybe I should start trying to stream. Ha! Right? Yeah. Ooh, there's a cat on the roof across the street. I've never seen a cat on the roof. Not across the street, but maybe that's what my dogs are barking at when they go out. What, Odin? Anyway, alright. I will maybe stream later. Peace out.